time, and we'll be underway in about 3 minutes. We'll take a quick opportunity to talk a little bit about the course over which they're running this morning. I'm Dixon Farmer, and I'm joined by Bill Rowe. Very pleased to be joined by Bill Rowe, pretty much Mr. Track and Field and Cross Country here in the Northwest, the originator of Club Northwest and the past president of USATF. Bill, you've been on this course with your athletes several times. Good test?
It is a good test. It's a fair test. It's got a lot of rolling to it, small rolls by some comparison to other courses in other areas. What I like most about it is the surfacing is relatively consistent, good grass surface. It is a long, very gradual uphill for the first little bit, then down to the Ash Creek itself here at the preserve on the very north end. And then they'll come back along a very, very long straightaway all the way past and behind the start. And they'll do a little different loop to the east on the second loop. And then they'll repeat a loop to the west and come into the finish line. The course is marked in kilometers. It's a very international course. Mike Johnson's just done a great job of getting this ready.
Well, Mike Johnson is really proud of this course, actually. We are sitting adjacent to the start line on what have been constructed as berms on this course originally a couple of years ago. In fact, when the Western Regional meet was here, there were no berms, and they have built them. They would be well, just enough to kind of ruin your rhythm if you are running,
or to shake it up a little bit.
Well, you've got that as a possibility as well. Looks like we're just about set to go. Starter has given his final instructions. We'll talk about some of the teams that we want to preview for you, as well as some of the individuals here once we get underway. Got 4 cameras working this morning, and you can see the one that is focused on the start. It's 760 meters from the start to the very first turn. So in terms of the sorts of things that a large field like this needs, this is a real plus.
And they did add to the berm and mogul situation here at Ash Creek between the last time they did a regional. We were on this berm here where we're located near the start line, but they've constructed new berms out on the northeast corner, which adds to the complexity of the course. They're off.
Is he gonna get out the way?
Probably very little advantage to or disadvantage to wherever you are positioned on the start line, with as much distance between the actual start and the first turn. Clearly it's important to establish yourself early. The first 100 meters, if anybody goes down, there will be a second gun recall. That didn't happen. So there's probably going to be a little bit of jostling. There are about 250 people in this competition, and they're in pretty tight quarters at this point in time. Let's talk about some of the teams that we are looking for. Chico State is the defending team champions here for both the men and the women, and they have been an absolute dominant force in the CCAA conference. On the women's side, they are, well, on both the men's and women's side, Gary Town is the head coach, and he's been 22 years at the head of the Wildcat program. They won 10 straight conference titles, and a level of dominance that is pretty much unheard of in any collegiate ranks. They were here at Ash Creek in 2016, and they have had some very solid finishes here over the course of the last couple of regional championships. Their leader is going to be Hannah Dorman. Dorman, fairly typical of Chico State, came in with modest credentials as an athlete and has developed to the point where she's unbeaten this year at the Division II level. And she's going to have some company at the front, though. Don't get me wrong. There are going to be plenty of people who will give her a tussle. This is the number 4 ranked team in the country, and as they disappear to the north, they are going to make a left turn and come back our direction, and we'll see if we can't get 1,000-meter time for them.
This is just perfect. This is how the other one should look.
The 1K mark over on the west side of the course.
Chico was fourth in last year's national championships. They come in as the number 5 ranked team. I think I gave them a little bit of an advantage by indicating they were the number 4 ranked team, but number 1 in the Western region. And of course, they were the number 1 team here a year ago. Cal Baptist is going to be very tough in this women's race. They run in gold and blue, and they are out of Riverside, California. Ben Gall is the head coach there in his 6th year. They have never lost in the Pac West Championships, and this is their swan song. They will move to the Division I level after this year is over and become members of the Western Athletic Conference. And so there's a little more gravitas to this particular race for these women. This is the number 1 ranked team in the country is Cal Baptist, and Emmeline Delanis, who was their conference champion. She's a junior out of France. They are populated by a number of Europeans. She was the Pac West champion and 8th here in 2016. 3 minutes and 30 seconds at 1K, so not particularly fast. They're running at about 5:35 pace or so for a mile. But at this stage, everybody's just kind of feeling one another out and sparring, if you will, as they move their way toward the front. Simon Fraser is another team that is going to be counted upon to be up toward the front. They were 6th in last year's national championships, and they were the runners-up in the GNAC championships a couple of weeks back with 3 in the top 10. And that's what it takes to be a dominant force in a race like this with as many people as there are. You've got to have some leaders, and you got to have your 5 packed closely together. Julia Howley is the leader for them, and we'll see if we can't identify her once she comes through our neighborhood. The other team we need to talk about is the University of Alaska Anchorage, and they are led by the woman who is probably the odds-on favorite to win the individual title here as well as possibly in the national championships. That's Caroline Kurgat. She was 2nd here a year ago to Laura Aceves of Cal State San Bernardino, and she ended up 3rd in the national championships. An All-American indoors and outdoors, 2 times All-American in cross-country, and we believe that's Kurgat that we see in the front right now. She's not afraid at all to go out in the lead.
The one time we could see it perfect.
She won her conference championship by 64 seconds 2 weeks ago, and she's already got a couple strides as they approach the mile mark.
There's Casey.
Kurgat is a senior for the Seawolves out of Kenya.
I didn't see Lorraine.
And a very strong Alaska Anchorage team. They were 3rd in last year's national championships with Mike Freeze as their head coach. And Freeze, of course, has a little bit of Oregon in him. He was a Linfield graduate. He's been at UAA for 28 years. Hannah Dorman is running in the number 2 position. She is kind of gapped there between Kurgat and the 2 more followers behind her. Dorman is, as we mentioned earlier, the CCAA champion from Chico State. She's in the white over black. And then it is the 2 from Cal Baptist, Emmeline Delanis and Annette Samoji. Samoji likes to go out quickly, and she's been instructed by her coach that she better not do that today. She did that in the conference meet and had a little difficulty in the finish. But they ran in that Pac West championship on the toughest of all 3 of the courses. Cal Baptist has got 3 in the top 10, so the number 1 team in the country on the coaches' rankings, showing themselves early to be the team to beat. back to Samoji. She has been told that she needs to run under control here early on. Emmeline Delanis was the one who came from behind to win that conference title on Crystal Springs. Of course, it's the, as I said, the toughest of all three of the conference meets was on Crystal Springs. Lots of hills, and the other two conference meets at Patton Lake in Bellingham, Washington, and the one in Ceres, California, in the central portion of the state of California, were flat as tables. So pace has picked up a little bit. They've gone through 2K at 6:55 after a 3-minute and 30-second first kilometer. So we have begun to see the beginnings of people moving away from the pack. They're going to come back our direction. They are on the moguls now, or the berms. And incidentally, these berms were named after the woman who is the meet director here in this meet. That is Randy Lydham. She is a 9-time NAIA All-American while competing here in cross-country and track at Western Oregon. And the turns on this course have names, as do the berms.
I don't see just an excellent course. Perfectly flat. That girl opened it up on them.
So they're into that berm section now. The women cover about 600 meters worth of what passes for hills on this course. Moguls if you're a skier, berms if you're a runner, and Kurgat has already established herself. She's got a pretty good size lead early on here as we approach 3,000 meters in this 6K race, 3 3/4 miles imperially. And this is Kurgat coming over the final berm right next to where we are located. She gives a quick glance over her left shoulder. Not much reason to be concerned about people behind her, because she's got about 80 meters at this point in time. Kurgat, the senior for Alaska Anchorage, and then it is Hannah Dorman running in second. And you can see the 3 in the blue and gold of Cal Baptist. This is going to be a good team battle. There's Natalie Rodriguez on the outside in the 2 tones of blue from San Marcos. And the number 4 woman for Cal Baptist running in the top 10. And here is the number 5 woman passing our station in the top 20. So Cal Baptist at this point the team to beat, and Kurgat certainly showing her skill individually. And the voice you hear in the background is Bill Rowe rooting for his Viking team. He has worked for the last 30 years in Western Washington, and coaches both the men and the women up there, along with Pee Wee Housel. So unbiased? Not really.
It's a little cold, huh?
Well, we're running along at about a little bit over 5:30 pace through the first 2 miles here. We'll see if we can't get a split. We're going to Bill, did we miss the 3K? Okay, we're headed for 4K, and you can see a group of 4 now in that chase pack behind Kurgat, but the distance grows as the race goes on, and Kurgat is obviously the class of the field here, and looks like she's about to do the same thing she did in the GNAC championships, just virtually ran away from everybody else in the race.
How are you just like that much faster? Because they're all fast.
That second group includes Emmeline Delanis and Annette Simoji of Cal Baptist, along with Hannah Dorman. She's in the white over red of the Wildcats of Chico State. Natalie Rodriguez in that group as well. She's in the double colors of blue for the Cougars of Cal State San Marcos. And you can add Caroline Barkachin from Cal Baptist, along with her teammates Delanis and Simoji, making a move toward the front of the chase pack.
Pushing a little Jeep, or ATV. So see this group right here.
So now they turn, the first time around, they turned to the left this time and headed back our direction. This time, I believe they turned right. And
Oh, the first time they went that way.
we will
Then they came
see them
this way.
again.
Let's see what they do. We should see somebody. Is that Casey? Is that Lauren?
Lorraine.
Lorraine?
I can't tell from behind.
Samoji, one of those women in that chase pack, is an outstanding steeplechaser. She's an All-American at that distance in
doing
the
a
spring on the
very
track.
good
She's a
job at
sophomore out of
recording this.
Hungary, and Delanis, as
They're
we
getting
indicated, has a French derivation,
multiple angles,
and those are the
multiple
two
groups
leaders
of
for
people
the
throughout
number
the
one
race,
team in the
not
country,
just the
Cal
leader.
Baptist.
Yeah.
People want to see everybody.
Cal Baptist, as we mentioned earlier, is coached by Ben Gall. He too has some Oregon roots. He graduated from Eastern Oregon and has been at Cal Baptist for 6 years, has never lost a conference title on the men's side, and has won 5 out of the last 6 on the women's side as
I
well.
was trying to find the link to send it to Blake.
A native of the Northwest, actually he's a native of Alaska and went to East Anchorage High School and then coached for 10 years at Northwest Nazarene. He has got this Cal Baptist team revved up and very much ready to go.
Very. Unless they just bought it.
Delanis, the other woman in the blue and gold for Cal Baptist, is the school record holder at 3,000 meters and 5,000 meters. And, of course, she's the Pac West Conference champion.
Like,
26 seconds now separate Caroline Kurgat from those who are chasing her. Here is Kurgat now making her way through for the second time these berms.
Follow pack.
Kurgat having no trouble whatsoever handling this team, and I suppose at some point in time, well, we're going to get an opportunity to interview her after the race is over. At some point, she's got to begin to think about maybe conserving a little bit of energy in preparation for the national championships in Evansville in 2 weeks. But at this point in time, it doesn't look like it as she passes our station and doesn't appear to be interested in slowing in any way, shape, or form. Now this chase pack has grown just a little bit. Well, take it back. There are still 4, but the leadership in the pack has changed. That is Natalie Rodriguez of Cal State San Marcos. She's coached by Steve Scott. Steve Scott, the many-time internationalist, Olympic teams and world championship teams. And it is Rodriguez and the 2 from Cal Baptist, and then Hannah Dorman from Chico.
Yeah.
And then Casey should be coming up.
3, 2, 1, Bill. You got her?
No. I might see Casey still. There's Casey. And then
Yeah, we're looking for the first woman from Simon Fraser, and that is Julia Howley. We mentioned her earlier. Howley should be up well, and she is. She's in about 6th place at this point in time in the white over black of the clan of Simon Fraser.
Go.
do something.
Have we got any more kilometer splits here, Bill? Have we got any more kilometer splits? Okay. All right. Well, we can see the gator making its way down the west side of the course, and all by herself, Caroline Kurgat. She is going to make a right turn and head into the finish.
My own theory, since cross-country runners don't get to see their race, it's hard for them to know how to improve. To see that you were only, from here to the carry's house behind the leader.
And now
They're
over
like,
30
"Man, I didn't know
seconds
that close. I
behind,
could've
it
ran
is
harder."
Rodriguez.
But since they don't see, this is one of the few sports where they don't get to see it. If they had that
And
overview,
Samoji and Delanis and Dorman, those are your top 5.
to me, every
We're in a
course
pretty
should
good
have
position to
this
be able to
type
see
of,
the majority of the course. There are some spots that are
race
invisible
center.
to us, but for the most part, we can see what's going on, and you can see the crowd beginning to move back and forth. It's a terrific spectator course, an opportunity to witness virtually the entire race by almost standing in one place, but as is the
As soon as I saw the
habit of
map, I
most
said,
cross-country
"Map, this is done."
aficionados, movement is involved,
I
and
was
they're
like,
doing that
wow,
now as they're
this
kind
is
of
the
gathering
greatest
toward the
course I've ever seen. Like, it
finishing
just- it's
area
something like
as
this.
we are looking for the gator. It has disappeared from sight at this point in time, but we're going to be able to pick it up here shortly. Kurgat 18:10 through 5 kilometers. So she has got her foot on the accelerator pretty much throughout the course of this race. And she is going to come into view here shortly and will be making her way toward the finish line. They are now at that the far west, or rather far northern end of the course, where the big line of trees and the actual creek, Ash Creek, is located. And Kurgat will begin heading back our direction here shortly. We can see the headlights of the lead vehicle. You can see it on your screen as well. And as she comes into view, there's very little to be seen behind her now, as there is some separation having been made in that battle for second, but no question about Caroline Kurgat, as she is going to be our Western Regional champion.
They're not.
And I
This
would
girl
bet a
isn't in
nickel at
better
this
shape
point in
than her.
time she is thinking
She's
about
just
what's going
able
to be
to
happening
push
in a
harder
couple of
than
weeks
that
at the national championship. She was a third-place finisher in last year's nationals,
I'm
a
a
runner-up
second
in
and a
this
half
meet a
ahead
year
of you
ago,
after 4
and
miles.
she
I'm
is
not
getting,
very upset.
or will soon get the
It's something
applause
else.
of those people who are lining the last
She's
couple of
seen
hundred
Don,
meters as she
Lorraine,
approaches that point.
and Casey, and who else was
I
it?
think it's Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
That's her.
I wondered if that was
There
second.
she goes.
This is Kurgat on your screen now. She's in the green and black of the Seawolves of Alaska Anchorage. And much as expected,
Alaska?
she has made a shambles of the rest of this
Anchorage.
pretty high-class group of distance runners. And she is now about 150 meters away from the finish line.
Most
There
likely
will
gonna
be
win
some
regionals.
drama in terms of who finishes in second.
Like a black Alaska, huh?
Tom Heinen and
You
the
would think
PA
they would
announcer
have
in
a
the
better-
background announcing Kurgat's
I
arrival
think
at the
they
finish
would
line.
raise for the.
And we are
Oh, okay.
That's the finish.
still looking for number 2.
Good job, girl.
There is Kurgat crossing the line on your screen.
Like
And
this.
then the 2 from Cal Baptist, shoulder to shoulder, Samoji
Go Cal Baptist.
and Delanis.
You figure they're
And
clearly going to
they
take
are
the
going to be tough to
second
beat
and
as a
third.
team. Then Hannah Dorman will be the next to cross the line. She's in the white
that's
over
tough
black
when
of the
you beat
Wildcats
your-
of Chico
your buddy.
State. And then it's Natalie Rodriguez. Rodriguez was the runner-up in the CCA championship. Dorman the champion as they
How you
finish
could just do
4th
that.
and 5th.
Run across it.
And then from
That's sweet.
Simon
You see Lorraine.
Fraser, this is Julia Howley, who will be our
She
6th
opened up.
finisher.
She's second.
2026 won the official winning time for Kurgat, and that we believe, and we're going to double check that, may be a new course record.
That's
Is that Lorraine?
That's Casey right
That's
down
Lorraine.
below.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the Kurgat 2026 is a new course record. Joyce Chalimo was the old record holder at 2042, and Chalimo ran for,
15 people.
guess who?
Doesn't
Alaska
look like she's
Anchorage.
in sprint mode, though.
So, not much
Yeah,
savings
Lorraine.
of energy for Caroline Kurgat as she runs away from this field
Is
and
that Casey?
Go, Casey, go.
wins
Go.
by, what do we got here, 28 seconds.
Uh-huh.
Samoji, the runner-up, Delanis in third at 21:04 and 21:08 respectively. And then it is Natalie Rodriguez at 21:16, Julia Howley, Simon Fraser at 21.
See, it's like,
And
why?
23,
It trips me out when you're right
the
here. Why you
seventh
don't
placer,
start picking
Swan
off people?
Filippo of the Academy of Art.
Who's that?
And the eighth placer is Tatiana Gillick. Nice rebound for Gillick that had a particularly strong conference championship that the senior
We're
from
not gonna
Humboldt
see it.
State
She
is
just-
eighth
she
at
finished.
21:30. And on the basis of what we see on our screen, we can certainly tell you that Cal Baptist is going to be a team champion. Bill is feverishly working at some of the magic that he creates. He is going to give us an unofficial team score faster than the computer can. Not many people can do that, but the man on my left is good at that sort of stuff.
Amazing how you're upright, and then at the end you're like, ugh.
Not to me. I get it.
Now remember, the top
Like, how
three teams
can you
are
make
the
it that
automatic
far?
qualifiers. And
Well,
then the
see,
top two
that's the
individuals who
thing.
are not on qualifying teams will advance to
You
the national
can.
championships
You
in
stop. Anytime
2 weeks. And
you stop on purpose.
if you want to establish a fist
You
fight,
had
you
it.
ask
It's
the
not like
coaches
you're
about
just
this
like,
qualifying
I gotta
procedure.
make it.
None of them are very happy about it.
You're like, as soon as I
And
get
there
there,
are
I can
a
stop.
wide variety of opinions. It's quite complicated. It was changed this year for the second time in
You know,
3
you get
years,
these people
and may well change
to
again
help us.
after this
If
year
they
is
were
over.
to
But
do it,
we do know for a fact that
they
3
were like,
teams will
"Oh,
go
you're not
out of
lifting
this
me up."
conference, and then 2 individuals not on any of the
I don't
qualifying
care.
teams.
You're gonna hold
The
me.
common
Like
thread
her.
among the coaches
I'll
in
tell you,
terms
girl.
of qualifiers was
Yeah,
it ought to
that's
go
my-
5 deep.
She had
With
the
the
hell in her
provisional
hand.
qualifiers
I
and
feel
maybe
you.
as deep as 6. So we'll give you the top 6 teams based on what information that we've got. And Cal Baptist with 68.
I
And
mean, it's a trip that they
remember,
run
we're doing this
right.
unofficially.
They're like, when I get
Alaska
right,
Anchorage
I can
with
stop.
84.
And like, they're all in freaking shape. Every one
Oh,
of
Chico,
these
the
runners
defending champions,
are
in
in
third with
shape.
105.
And this is
And then Simon
almost
Fraser with 127.
their
So we
limit.
are assured
Gonna
that
need
UAA,
it.
Cal Baptist, and Chico
Dude.
are all headed in 2 weeks for the national championships. And we're going to get an opportunity to visit with Caroline Kurgat here as she is headed our direction.
What always amazes me is the winners, how they're never tired. That always amazes me. In every sport, you don't see the winner just exhausted. Isn't that crazy how obviously it's a mindset. It's not just the shape, because everybody's in shape. This is just excellent coverage. This is better than being there. Just excellent coverage.
Now we can hear the voice of Tom Heinen of the PA announcer in the background as people are streaming across the finish line, but we are standing next to the woman who streamed across the finish line.
That's a good picture of her. You know, sometimes they have bad ones in the running. She has muscles. Good picture of her.
A couple of times I saw you look over your shoulder. There wasn't much to see, was there? You had a pretty good lead almost from the very beginning. Was it your strategy to go out hard and see who wanted to go with you?
Well, coming to this meet, I just wanted to know how fit I am and how I can work it out by myself. So I wanted to know how close everyone else was with me.
We've got some unofficial team scores available, and it looks like you're going to be joined in Evansville by your teammates, pretty much as expected. Did the race go the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And talk a little bit about your aspirations for the national championship.
Well, I really want to do better than last year, and that means I should be first or second. So I don't want to be second, though, so I'll try to win it as much as I can.
That is a very good answer. You were third a year ago. To improve on that, there's only two possibilities, and you are not accepting one of those. You want to be first, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, you sure look good today.
For the nation
Congratulations,
last year.
Caroline.
Thank you
Keep
so
up the good work.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, somebody has to do it, but that's impressive to me. When you're that person, I told Simone, that person is going to be the person that's taking, the top 5 in the nation in D2. They can compete with pretty much anybody in D1. They just happen to be going to a D2 school for whatever reason. Men's race starts at 11:15 on time. See what they give us in time. Really? Okay, I want my skinny fat. What they give me scores. Any scores. You know what's funny to me?
Like,
Weird. I mean, what's the other one? I mean, people say like, haha funny, or what is the other one?
Well, you can see runners still crossing the finish line, and so we will apprise you of some team scores as soon as they are available to us officially. There is a short protest period of 15 minutes for coaches in case there was problems out on the course
and you are
to file their
delicate.
protest. But
Right.
once that is over, the results become official, and
Yeah, you act like
we
that's
will
hard.
pass that information along to you and let you know that the men's championship race is scheduled at 11:15, about 45 minutes from now. So we will
See, this is
we'll
what
give you
this
some
is how-
updates with
this is
team
how it
scores
feels
when we
to
get
me.
them, but we will not
Yeah,
be
it's
back
like
I know, but
in the audio portion of our show for another, let's say 40 minutes or so.
That's how it feels.
This is
What did that feel?
sensual
No,
feeling
what did that
of
feel?
doing.
No,
And
what,
then you ruin
no,
it.
what I just did, what was that?
Too soft.
There you go. There you go. And I'm looking at, like let's say you're hugging me and your head is that way. And I'm looking at you like,
Really?
it's like you're shaking my hand like this. It's like if I was to do that. You're like, what the heck? This is what this is what it feels like. Timmy. This is just what it feels like. It feels, and so what am I supposed to do
That's
with
what
that?
I like. I don't like it tight. I hate when people squeeze my
No,
hand.
no, I ain't talking about squeezing your hand. You don't want somebody shaking your hand like this.
My hand is teeny.
You don't want me to hug you like that, like. You said, that's not even a, that's what you're doing.